All right, guys, we are live here. It is the night that is the most awaited. People around the world have been looking forward to this debate. The debate that is the most awaited around the globe is finally here. We are just under a minute away from Kamala Harris and Donald Trump facing off each other in what should be a very crucial debate in the road to the White House. That's right, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump coming face to face, putting forward their policies, their plans when it comes to their presidency. It's going to be an interesting night, of course. As Trump said, he is going to a very heated territory. He is going to a territory that is supposed to be against him mostly. We'll see how that goes. I'm watching ABC News right now. Of course, the host of tonight's debate, and from the looks of it, it seems like, from what I can see right now, it seems like the narrative is already quite anti-Trump, right? They're talking about how he's going to deal with women's issues. They're talking about how he's going to pronounce Kamala Harris's name, with the things that he said about her. So already it seems like things are quite anti-Trump. We'll see how this goes, but here we are. The debate is underway. This should be an interesting night. Let's see how this goes. Welcome everybody to the channel. Those who are new here, hello, Weedham. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you. So as we already know, the mics will be muted. So when one person is speaking, one candidate is speaking, the other candidate's mics are going to be muted. This is something that Kamala Harris's campaign did not want. They were fighting against it for quite some time. But unfortunately for them, the mics will be muted. They will not remain unmuted. It's quite interesting because if you go back to the debate, the first debate that happened earlier this year between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, where Trump basically ended, as Republican like to call it, he ended Joe Biden's political career that night. So that night, that debate, the Democrats actually had the mics muted, right? They wanted the mics to be muted. But what happened was that Trump came across, because the mics were muted, and usually when the mics are not muted, Trump is talking over others. He's expressing his anger, his frustration. It's hard for him to be able to keep his words in. So that night when the mics were muted and Joe Biden wasn't his 100%, wasn't his best, that night Trump was the one who came across as more sensible. Oh, here we are, by the way, guys. The debate is underway, and the Republican candidates and the Democrat candidate, he's about to make his way out. We are about a minute and 54 seconds away. The stage is set. The podium is set. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be exciting for sure. Again, ABC News, a very interesting territory, especially as Trump has called it over and over again. Trump has said this, that he feels that ABC is even worse than MSNBC when it comes to, reporting Trump and reporting about the Republicans, which is interesting because I thought personally that MSNBC was the worst of them all when it comes to, talking about Republicans. But apparently, and here we are, guys, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are here. This is interesting.
I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle class, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition,
That's quite interesting.
the dreams of the American people.
Just because you were raised as a middle class kid, I don't think that makes you the best for the middle class. That doesn't mean anything. So her point of growing up as a middle class kid, it really doesn't apply here, in my opinion.
Families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a
Interesting.
$50,000 tax deduction to startups, small
Interesting.
businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump.
Interesting. Okay.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because it was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places they've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle.
Well, you know what? Trump is not wrong over here because when Trump was president, and this is something that nobody can deny, at least the first 2 years before the pandemic hit, things were doing pretty well, right? The country was doing quite well economically. Yeah, definitely. So that's something that Trump boasts about a lot. That's something the Republicans boast about a lot, but rightfully so. Things have gone downhill, definitely, ever since the pandemic hit.
In Colorado, they are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate.
Yeah, Kamala Harris, you can tell already she's seething with anger, right? She's not happy.
Talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression.
Well, that's because of.
Trump left us the worst public
Well,
health
I think we all know why that happened, right?
century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you on this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook. A bunch of lies, grievances, and name calling.
This is quite interesting. She's already setting the narrative for what this debate is going to look like and what Trump is going to do. This is, again, the narrative that was said by the media earlier. I was watching the media earlier today. A lot of people calling Kamala the underdog. They were calling Trump a great debater, a very skilled debater, something that the media never does, right? They never praise Trump, but they were praising Trump for being a great debater, for making history, for participating the 7th time in a general election debate, which is the most for any candidate in American history.
I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas. I guess some good, some bad.
That's right.
But it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody
Like, if
knows
Trump is saying,
taxes versus
if he's not lying right now, which I would assume he's not lying, right? Because how would you lie about such a thing on such a large, huge scale when the world is watching? So if he's saying that he is not going to be doing it, he is not going to be taking that project 2025.
Job with the
Uh,
economy. We
I
had
don't think he's lying.
a
Let's see.
country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military, they give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounced back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So, Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would
I watched of course, most of us, I'm assuming, we all watched the debate between Trump and Clinton back in the day. And Clinton was furious. Clinton, she came across as very strong, very powerful. She put forward some very good points, did not portray herself as an underdog, was not the underdog, was actually quite dominant in the debates, but Trump still beat her. Now, Kamala Harris over here, she's trying to play, I feel, so far, she's trying to play the emotional card. While Trump is speaking, you can tell that she is not happy. You see a little bit of the anger over there in the facial expressions, too. If Hillary could not beat Trump with her debate performance, I'm not sure how Kamala Harris is going to be able to do the job with this kind of debate performance so far. But let's see how that goes. Andrew, great to see you, brother. Good to see everybody.
Lower taxes.
Welcome.
She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs, you responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll be higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of
This is
dollars.
quite interesting because, of course, he's talking about tariffs right now. He's talking about how he's going to make the importers, right? He's going to make them pay taxes and tariffs for sending their goods into America, which is quite interesting. But I've seen similar things happen in other countries where they have charged, foreign countries or foreign importers so much that they just exit the country. So Trump and his tariffs, if they're too high, which from the looks of it, from the sound of it, they could be high. If they're very high, there's a danger of them possibly exiting, or at least not, if not the entire country, some brands, which is going to be interesting. Let's see. Hopefully that won't be the case. I'm pretty sure Trump is a smart businessman, so that hopefully will not be the case. But I've seen it happen with other countries where the tariffs were so high that big brands, just exited the country. Good to see you, James. Welcome. Hope you're doing well.
we've never seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out when a policy about China should be in making.
I'm not sure if this was ever proven right, because there was a lot of talk about it back in the day that America pre-Trump was also paying the laboratory in China, the lab that caused the leak apparently, and all of the mess happened. I'm not sure if that was actually true, if it was validated, but the word out there was that America was actually funding that lab in China. So Kamala Harris calling him out for the chip, it sounds like nothing in comparison to, the rumors out there. I'm not sure if they were validated though.
Thank you, President Xi! Exclamation point. When we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump will let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they
That was a big one.
policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. If she ever got elected,
That is hilarious.
and it will be
Yeah, even Kamala Harris can't stop laughing at that because, Trump said he was about to send her a MAGA hat because Kamala Harris really is adapting some of Trump's policy, right? First, she was for no wall, and now she's saying yes for wall, right? She wants the wall now. Earlier, she was totally against it. Now, earlier, they wouldn't want you to talk anything against China, and here she is now talking against China and Trump doing business with China. It's interesting.
and that's bad for our economy too. You mentioned before. We'll talk about
That's a good point from Trump. Sure.
immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thanks. Linsey.
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade.
Oh, this is their secret sauce, right? They wanted to bring up abortion. They wanted to bring up women's health because this is where they feel Trump's weak point lies. So his response here is going to be crucial and is going to be important in the direction of this debate moving forward.
That it was too short, and you said, "quote I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks." But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times.
It's true.
Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is they have abortion in the 9th month. They
It's
need to
terrible.
have, and you can look at the governor of West
It's
Virginia,
terrible.
the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby.
Terrible.
And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion.
I don't like any of their VP picks, to be honest, but Tim Walz, I mean, really? The guy's family endorsed Trump. That is crazy. I'm not sure what he did to piss them off, if he missed Thanksgiving dinner or something happened, but Tim Walz's family endorsing Trump is something else.
Into the states, and through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions, very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years.
That's right.
Every legal scholar,
It's been an issue for far too long in 2024. This issue should be settled, I feel, for once and for all. No developed nation should be debating and fighting over things like abortion and IVF. Making IVF free for everybody, I feel, is revolutionary. I think it's a huge step and should be encouraged and should be supported. But abortion, it's a tricky, it's definitely a tricky slope because there are two very separate and different opinions of when it comes to that. Let's see. And we've got a comment here saying Trump is also for IVF now and allowing abortion till certain month only, which is fair. Yep. Yep.
And that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected three members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith.
So Trump has said this time and time again that exceptions are made when it comes to such cases. Kamala Harris here saying that exceptions are not made is terrible. Exceptions must be made. They must be made. There's no reason for exceptions to not be made.
Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes.
Yeah, it seems like there are some lies going on over here. You can tell from the look on Trump's face, right? He's got a lot of things he wants to say right now, but with the mics muted, he's got to wait his turn.
Reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Women should be allowed to make decisions when it comes to their own bodies. That's right. I fully support that.
ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it
Well, I won't have to because again, and two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, essentially 50-50
It's true.
in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe.
Yeah.
The student loans, and then
The students also was terrible because they made a promise. It seemed like it was going to happen, but it ended up not happening at all, right? Not even close. So that was a heartbreak for a lot of people out there, and also maybe a false promise. But again, Trump makes a solid point there. Kamala Harris also makes a very good point, which Trump just flags them off as lies, as expected. So that's that. Andrew here with the question, great question. What is the importance of the U.S. election in your home country? It's of great importance. I feel that U.S. election and the U.S. leadership has a big impact on not just one country or two countries, but the entire world. You know, with the U.S. being the world power, their leadership really matters, and which direction the leadership is headed really matters. I mean, if you look back at Trump's presidency earlier on, him pulling out of NATO, him pulling out funds of Europe, pulling funds from China, all those things really mattered. They rubbed a lot of people off the wrong way. It really mattered. One of the executives from the UN, an audio was leaked recently, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, where they were talking against Trump. They said, "Oh, he is the guy who puts America first," and that's why a lot of people don't like Trump, right? Because he puts America first, which I feel is justified for Trump. But of course, a lot of other people are not very happy about it. So it's quite interesting. But just like I was saying, American election has a big impact on the entire world, and from an Indian standpoint, it seems like more people, or at least own our own leadership, right? They have good relations with Trump. So that's where we are at, it seems. But Kamala Harris, also an interesting one. You know, she is, as they call her, half Indian, right? Half Indian, half African American. So it's interesting. Let's see how this goes. I mean, a Kamala Harris presidency, a Joe Biden presidency didn't really do much for India, I feel. So what will a Kamala Harris presidency do? I don't think it would do any different. Not much different. I don't expect that. Let's see. I think Obama was great for India. Just my thoughts. I feel like Obama brought really many opportunities to India. Trump, I don't know, because 2 years of Trump really went down with COVID. So we really did not get to see that full potential of what he could have done internationally, at least. And Obama was great. Obama was great. Biden didn't do much. I don't think so.
I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization.
Yeah.
IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the
I agree. Obama was great. They don't make presidents like Obama anymore, you know? He was the best. He was great.
I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month? Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask me that question?
That's a good question. That's a great question that Trump is posing right now. Yes.
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month, and probably
That's a great question.
just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
Wow.
Now to immigration and borders.
Wow. Wait a second. So they're just steering clear of women's rights and abortion and IVF now because Trump posed a question. Oh, he wanted to ask Kamala Harris if she would allow abortion in the 8th month, 7th month, 9th month, and ABC moderators right away just steered clear and just diverted away from the topic of women's rights, women's health, and going now to immigration. That's crazy. That's crazy. What a way to save Kamala. That was insane. Wow. They just steered clear of that territory right away.
The United States Congress included.
How do you not see that, right? It's out there. It's crazy.
Came up with a border security bill, which I supported.
Again, Kamala Harris, first she was anti-wall, now she's pro-wall, so this is going to be interesting too.
Right now, overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him.
You know, you can mute microphones, but the one thing you cannot mute are facial expressions. And Trump's facial expressions right now, they speak volumes. He wants to say so much. This is gonna be good. He's not going to let him respond?
and officers on board.
First, let me respond this to the
Good.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies.
Look at those facial expressions. Kamala is seething with anger right now.
Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation, and it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III. Just to go into another subject, what they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. Not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating.
That's crazy.
Of the people
So,
that live there.
Trump, I'm sorry, but immigrants are eating the dogs, eating the cats, eating the pets of people who live there. I've got to say, this sounds like one of those crazy conspiracy theories that Trump is playing on right now. Look, this is not even believable. I think immigrants are humans, they're not aliens. And to claim that immigrants are illegal immigrants are coming in and they're eating dogs, cats, and pets of Americans, it's a joke. It's a Trump do better, do better. All right, Andrew, I really appreciate your opinion, brother. That's why I started this channel. It's called Outsider Speaks. And my motto here is to give my view as an outsider on a plethora of things, ranging from politics, technology, and so much more. The idea behind this channel is far deeper than just this, and we will talk about this as well in the future. But once again, thank you, Andrew, for the love, for the support. That's right, Sujit. Really appreciate that.
Let you respond to the rest of it.
You talk about extreme. This is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who a four-star general has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the Republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump will give you a quick minute to respond.
Yeah. Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people who were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen.
Afghanistan was a total disaster. That was very poorly managed. Yep.
Was no good, I fired him, so he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me they can write books, with nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration.
Wow. That's a bold claim over there from Donald Trump. More votes than any sitting president in the history of American politics. That's a big claim.
The largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you have no
That's right.
problem using U.S.
He plans on being even tougher on illegal immigration this time around.
How would you
This is gonna be
deport
interesting.
11 million undocumented immigrants?
much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country. And they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. You know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down. You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think
I read that in 2019, if I'm not wrong, Kamala Harris actually supported a bill which actually, according to that bill, the government would pay from taxpayers' money. They would pay and protect illegal immigrants, and they would pay for their gender-related surgeries, which is insane. This was back in 2019. I was watching a video from CNN, and the CNN reporter themselves was quite shocked, quite surprised when they came to know that back in the day, Kamala Harris supported such a bill. It's, as Trump calls it, from my understanding, a dangerously liberal bill. First of all, you're taking taxpayers' money and you want to pay for illegal or undocumented immigrants, and then on top of that, it's not health-related costs, but it is costs related to gender surgeries. It's definitely very, very liberal of Kamala to support it back in the day. I'm not sure what her stand is right now, but back in the day, very liberal.
Interference has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear, where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to
Okay.
support our small businesses, address
I'm not sure why she keeps diverting from the actual topic, right? So earlier as well, when they were talking about IVF, she tried to divert away from the topic, and once again now they're talking about immigration, and she wants to talk about housing and other things. I'm not sure why not stick to the topic, but okay.
And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently
Interesting.
from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them, but those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fawning Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases, and then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you for a really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Wait, this is crazy.
Let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand that this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails. Because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American
Okay.
people to stop him.
Linsey?
Vice President Harris, in your last
Wait, this is crazy.
This is the one that weaponized. Not
That is insane. So ABC will let Kamala Harris respond to Trump's accusation, but when Kamala makes an accusation or maybe a false statement about Trump, ABC News or their moderators will just move away from the topic and not let Trump respond. I've seen this happen not once but twice or three times already now, and we're not even halfway into the debate yet. So, wow, very, very surprising. The way that they're treating this guy right now, I mean, not even biased towards Trump, but I find this very surprising.
Have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of it, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear
Fracking.
in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States, and in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking. My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil.
That's right. That's right. You know who they want to, and you're right, Andrew. CNN also is quite. From what my understanding, CNN is, as well is quite left leaning, but when I watched that debate, Joe Biden Trump with CNN, and Trump has talked about it as well, right? That CNN was quite surprisingly fair. They gave both the candidates pretty good opportunities to speak their mind, to put forward their views, and to respond to each other's comments. ABC, on the other hand, yeah, it is. I mean, if you can see the way they're treating both the candidates so differently tonight, there's something wrong because it's so out there.
Of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands that strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
Okay.
President Trump, your
Well, first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars. Many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up.
It's true.
Very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now. You don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
Wow. Wow.
In Minnesota,
Whoa. Shots fired from Trump right there. Wow. Back in 2020, when Kamala Harris and Mike Pence they debated in the VP debate, Kamala kept telling Mike Pence, "I'm speaking, Mr. Vice President. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Let me finish." And Trump, the same statement, using it on Kamala tonight and saying, "Does that sound familiar? It's shots fired." This guy knows what he's doing. That is funny.
so
Okay.
this is going like nobody has ever done before.
That is funny.
When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country and oil will be dead.
It's huge.
But they take 400, 500 acres of desert soil. These are not good things for the environment, Miss Young.
What? What?
We have an election in just 56
The guy is putting forward. Wait. So he's putting forward a problem, and the moderator says, "Mr. Trump, this is not the issues that we're going to be addressing tonight." What? Okay.
your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The
Wow.
country and the world
January 6th now. Okay.
officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, "Oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet." That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America, they're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world, and crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just
when are those, David? When are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be?
Now he's deviating from the actual topic, right? So he's not going to apologize. He's not going to own up any responsibility, it seems, for the January 6th. He's showing no signs of regret for the Jan 6th riots, it seems.
Simple question as we move forward
Yeah.
toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes or
I
no?
had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said,
He's taking no responsibility.
I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me, it was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the former president said, stand back and stand by.
Can never forget that. Stand back and stand by. What an awful statement to make. But again, he was trying to appeal to his voter base. Let's be honest, right? That's what he was trying to do there. But stand back and stand by. Cannot forget that. Cannot forget Trump calling them fine men. There's no place for hatred. Hatred should never be encouraged or supported in any way whatsoever. And for Trump to make those statements as the president, awful, awful. And this is not an exaggerated statement, by the way, made from Kamala Harris. She's absolutely right. He did say those things. He has to own up to it. I'm pretty sure he's not going to talk about it at all. He's not going to address it. He's not going to, apologize for it. He's going to deviate away from the topic. And while Kamala has been wrong here and she has lied during this debate so far, and ABC has been quite biased against Donald Trump, but Kamala is right here. Trump was wrong to support those people. He was wrong to not speak up against the hatred. As the president, he had that responsibility, which he failed. He failed.
Related to energy because they've destroyed our energy business. That was where Bloodbath was. Also, on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this, you talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close this border because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed. Those people are killing many people, unlike J6.
Get him out of bed, wake him up at 4 in the afternoon is so funny, but also probably true.
This is the focus truth in these
Joe Biden being roasted for nothing tonight.
after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I acknowledge it.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say it.
sarcastically.
But
You know
those-
that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls. We have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm, lost by a whisper. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them
No judge looked at it.
and said
They
there was
said
no
we didn't have
consequence.
standing. That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in a
When Trump says or makes claims such as, these people are letting the illegals vote, there's no evidence to it. He should present evidence. He should have something to back up his claims. The problem is there's no evidence. If there's evidence, people would take him a lot more seriously, but because there is no evidence that he puts forward, a lot of those claims, especially now after all these years, people just don't care.
We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisper, so he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us, we won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the
I don't know about that,
And
you know.
breaks.
I don't know if world leaders are actually laughing at Trump. Some of them could be. You know, we all remember Justin Trudeau. We all remember Boris Johnson and all those people. You know, they were making fun of Trump, right? We all remember that. But other world leaders such as Putin, right? Putin's not laughing at Trump. I don't believe that the Indian prime minister is laughing at Trump, and a lot of other people also. I feel they respect Trump a lot, a lot. I feel like Putin was laughing at Kamala when he sarcastically or jokingly endorsed her for president of the United States.
Smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him.
That's right. Let's talk about the wars that are taking place across the world. It's so sad. I read the other day a claim that was made. I'm not sure how much truth there is to that, but it cannot be far from truth because it seems like the whole world is blowing up at some point. But about over 50 conflicts are going on right now in the entire world. Two of those, we hear about them almost every other day, right? Russia, Ukraine, of course, you've got the Israel stuff going on. That's just two of the conflicts, but over 50 conflicts going on in the world right now. And honestly, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, that wasn't really the case, was it? So he's true, and I feel like people should talk about it. The wars need to be stopped. What is UN doing? Really, what is the role of the United Nations anymore? If they can't keep or maintain peace in the world, what is the use of G20? What is the use of the United Nations? What is the president of the United States really doing? That is what they should be talking about right now.
And now she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm okay
President,
with it because
your time
I
is up.
think we're going to do very well.
We've got a lot more to get.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7th, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and an equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have a two-state solution where we can rebuild Gaza, where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly deserve.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up. Far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President
Wow.
Harris, who says he hates
That's a big claim. That's a big claim.
Absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel.
That's a very big claim, right?
He knows that. He's trying to again divide.
If Kamala can make a claim like that, she wins. But if she cannot make a claim like that, Donald Trump clearly has an upper hand over here.
Security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
If I was Trump, I would just bring up the fact that Putin endorsed Kamala. I would bring that up.
Do whatever the hell he wants and go.
He's laughing. It seems like he's thinking about it.
Well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un, and it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear.
He should bring up Putin. He should bring up Putin. Come on, Trump. Yeah, he's smiling. He's got to bring it up. He's got to bring it up.
Many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including the importance of upholding
They're going to steer away from the topic, I'm telling you.
our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
And she's the one that caused it. That's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last
Yes.
week, said I hope she wins, and I think he meant it.
Yes.
What he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak.
I'm so glad he brought that up. Look at the face of Kamala Harris right now. She is so angry. Oh dear.
Approved the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made.
It didn't seem like he wanted to bring it up, but Kamala forced for him to bring it up. Ah, that is funny.
And they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way, gets paid a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC
Wow.
presidential debate from the National Constitution.
Wow, really. I've got to say, what a debate so far. What a debate. And so far, we're halfway through it. Yeah, Kamala's not doing very well at the moment. We're halfway through the debate. And I wouldn't say if one person is dominating the other, because this debate is not like that. You know, the mics are muted. And but it seems like Kamala Harris isn't doing too well. I will say that. The fact that even when the mics were muted, she wanted to talk over Trump, she wanted to interrupt Trump, and Trump caught her off guard by using her own line from 2020, the one that she used a bit too many times against Vice President Mike Pence. He used that same line on Kamala Harris and then hit her with that sarcastic statement. Sounds familiar? So that was quite funny. It was quite genius. So that was a moment that really showed that Kamala Harris does not have this under control tonight. And then Trump talking about wars, saying that even before he becomes president, as president-elect, he will most definitely put the wars to an end. That's a big statement to make, especially when under the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris administrations, the wars started. the world started blowing up, and for Trump to make a bold statement such as president elect, not even the president, but as president elect, before I even step into office, the wars will be over. I don't know if you actually do that or not, but to make a big statement like that, it's something. And Kamala cannot make a statement like that because, unfortunately for her, the war started under her administration and she could do nothing to stop them. Instead, they kept selling and sending weapons and weapons and weapons to Ukraine, to Israel. That's all they've done. They haven't stopped the war, they have just sent more weapons to support the war, which is very sad. But let's see how this goes down. Of course, we've got an interval going on right now. Weedham says, and not one many wars started. That's right, which doesn't have any end date. That's right. And we got Andrew saying most wars or conflicts are either about what one country has that another does not, or unfortunately, it's about religion. It's true. Very well said. Very well said. You look at Israel right now. Look at what's happening over there. That's a war. It seems like that's a war stemming out of religion. Should never happen, and it should never happen. Religion, first of all, should be such a personal thing. I don't think, and people believe in different things, and that's okay. That's their opinion, and we should respect every person's own beliefs, every person's own religion. It's a respectful thing. I once read a statement that said that there are different routes, there are different ways to the top of the mountain. And it's such a beautiful statement. I totally agree with that. There are different ways to the top of the mountain, and each one of them is right. Some are hard, some are easier than the other, some are full of obstacles, others are not. It depends. Some are long, some are short, but every single way has its own set of challenges, and every single way is right, because one way or the other, you're going to make it to the top of the mountain. Similarly with religion, we should have the same perspective, that one person believes in this, the other believes in that, and that's okay. We respect all religions because at the end of the day, everybody is trying to connect with the one God, right? And that is what we should respect, that everybody, they're doing their best, and they're trying to be better human beings, and they're trying to connect with the one God, with the one Creator. And that's it. And there should be no wars about it, but unfortunately, not everybody has this perspective. Yeah, it's sad. It is sad. Hopefully, the wars will be over. Though I'm not sure if Trump's gonna do it. I'm not sure how is he gonna do it. Trump, again, with the thing with Trump is that he makes claims, right? That when I'm elected president, as president-elect, I will put an end to these wars even before I step into the office. That sounds amazing. How is he going to do it? He says, I'm great. I have a great relationship with Putin. I understand that. How are you going to stop the war? The lack of insight there, makes those claims feel or sound baseless. And let's see how that goes down. Hopefully, he's going to be a man of his words. But we're back here from the commercial break. We're halfway through the debate, and the debate, so far, Kamala Harris really has not been doing well. She's not been doing well. But let's see how things are going to turn out to be in the next phase of this debate.
Move even further into other countries. You have said you would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight.
That's right.
How exactly?
Wow, great question here. How exactly is he going to do it? Great question here.
Ukraine to win this war.
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people
Good.
being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 million or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin. Hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled.
I've got to say, the fact that America keeps sending weapons to continue and fight this war, I find it sick. I really find it sick. So, I agree with that. They keep sending weapons. They're not trying to end the war. It doesn't seem like they're trying to end the war. They're just sending weapons and weapons. And Trump here, if he wants to end the war to save lives on both sides of the border, I'm all in for it.
He must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
They
here,
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't
He's
even know
right. They did throw him out of the campaign like nothing, like a fly, like a mosquito out of tea. It's true.
it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war.
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished.
That's right.
Just get it done.
I love that.
Because we have to.
Trying to instigate him right now, trying to put him on the spot there, trying to make him make a controversial statement. I love Trump's response there. It's in the best interest to end the war. The question should not be who wins. The question should be that we should end it. How do you win a war, by the way? Do you totally destroy a country? Do you kill everybody? Is that how you win a war? That's a terrible question to ask.
I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are. as
What?
Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president.
Because they wouldn't be getting money from America if Trump was president. That's why they're thankful that he's not.
And what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour.
Totally not convincing.
I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier. And please, I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow, quiet place. He would have been sitting.
Again, Kamala Harris not able to control herself and breaking the rules of the debate, talking over Trump.
He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening, but he does have that. Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war. Because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate.
It's terrible.
Zelensky and Putin
I agree.
He's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history
Definitely
of
would
our
be
country.
close, right? Not a great vice president.
She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate as soon as they left to
She,
win the invasion.
President Trump, thank you.
I don't know if she's the worst vice president, but I can tell you that she's a bad debater. Definitely, not a good debater at all. You know, at least somebody who cannot adhere to the rules here in this debate. Terrible work here from Kamala Harris so far.
The reality is, it has been about standing as America always should, as a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is Commander in Chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
You talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I wanted to move on to Afghanistan.
Said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen, he's the head of NATO.
It's true.
I've never seen, for years we were paying almost
Honestly, I think what Trump did with NATO is great. And the reason why NATO doesn't like Trump is that same exact reason, right? He was hard on them. He was hard on them. He wanted justification for the reason why America was paying so much money to Europe and all these countries and NATO, and they couldn't give him that justification, and he pulled out. And of course, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden get into office. The first thing they could do is they once again strengthen their relationship with NATO, which means they once again start paying them money, and of course they love them for that. Clear as day.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300
Oh, Afghanistan was a
endless war.
misery.
And as of
So Trump wanted to pull out of Afghanistan, right? He was the one who wanted to pull out of there. Joe Biden did it in a terrible way.
combat zone in any war zone around the
So they can't take credit for the fact that taxpayers are no longer paying for having troops over there in Afghanistan when so many troops actually lost their lives because of the way that they pulled out of there. It was a mess. It was a mess. The world watched it. It was a total and absolute chaos. One that they have tried very hard to cover up, but they can't. It's in the tapes. We all saw the people running up in the airports and trying to hold on to the planes as they were taking off. It was a total disaster.
Taliban terrorists released. And get this, no, get this. And the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be Commander-in-Chief with a level of respect.
Trump's smiling. He's got a response to that.
How he has
He's smiling.
consistently disparaged and demeaned members
He's got a good reply to that already in his head. Look at him.
the work that we
Yeah.
must do to uphold the strength and the respect
He's got a good one coming, I can tell.
around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that we began the
Yeah,
negotiations
thank
with
you.
the Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul was the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I future of my house. I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than that, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And these people did the worst.
He wants to move on. How about he lets Kamala Harris respond to that? Because if what Trump is saying is true, it just shows what a great negotiator he is and how, with his negotiating skills, he can save lives. And if what he said is true, oh, they're not going to let Kamala respond to that because Kamala has no response to that. That's crazy. So what Trump did in Afghanistan and how he dealt with Taliban, if that is truth, which it seems like it's true because Kamala could not respond to that. If that's true, it only goes on to show what a great negotiator he can be. And I actually now kind of trusted that, I actually believe in it, that if he becomes president, maybe he will actually stop the wars. Great negotiator. I think Kamala Harris right there, she proved it. She proved the point that Trump is a great negotiator herself. Good.
That's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her.
That was an eye-opener for me. I never thought he had such a big hand.
I think it's,
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by
All right, so we've got Andrew saying, trust me, we are still paying for it. All the equipment sent overseas and just left behind. That's right. They're not even bringing up such expensive equipments that were left in Afghanistan, such expensive shipments that were left there for people to use. It's true. And Surjit says it's such a controlled debate. Why are they doing it? If they don't want to respond, better not have it. That's right. It's ABC. And Andrew says, that's we and the U.S. We have never seen her until now. What has she done as vice president? Absolutely nothing. Just standing in the shadows. That's right. You know, if the Americans, the people who live in America, if they haven't seen Kamala Harris do anything as VP, you can only imagine what the world thinks of Kamala Harris. You know, this is possibly the fifth or the sixth time I'm actually listening to her talk. You know, so I agree. I haven't seen a whole lot of Kamala Harris myself.
people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people, knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president.
You know, I read early on, I was reading an article piece, I believe, from a reputed source, and they said that Kamala Harris is going to be pulling the emotional card. She will be portraying herself as touchy, as emotional, and she'll be talking about sensitive topics such as women's health, such as, of course, you know, she's talking right now about what language a person's grandmother speaks. So she's pulling up the emotional card as expected. You know, the underdog mentality over here.
They badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately, and if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger.
It's true. They cannot debate that, right? He did build a strong economy in the first 2 years of his presidency before the virus came in. The economy was booming. Really, America was doing very strongly. economically. They were a strong economy in the first 2 years. They cannot deny that. Nobody can, because the numbers speak for themselves. They were doing well back then. They're not doing so well right now.
Briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country. One who believes in what is possible. One who brings.
So she's trying to separate herself from Joe Biden. I can just say this, right? That it is not a Joe Biden administration. It is a Biden Kamala administration. That is what it's called. So for her to try to separate herself from the Biden administration right now, it really shows a lot. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. You cannot do that as the VP. You cannot separate yourself from your president. And she's trying to do that right now, which is uncalled for.
Sue, their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue.
That's right.
what has been
Thanks,
their
Andrew.
long-term
Thanks, Weenum.
American dream by offering help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. That's the kind of conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling.
I don't think that Trump has called her any names so far.
President Trump, we have to move on. President Trump.
They're not going to let him respond.
To defund the police, she has a plan to confiscate
She did support defunding the police back then. That's true.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
That's true.
That's what her plan is until just recently.
I just need to respond. No, the former president has said something twice that I need to respond to.
I'm sorry,
I
we're
just
gonna
need to
move on,
respond
Vice
one
President
time to
Harris.
what he has said
President Trump, this is
multiple
now your third time running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're gonna keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If she can't be true or loyal to her own president, if she cannot defend her own current administration, is she trying to tell us that she did nothing to help the economy as VP the past 4 years? If she tries to just run away from it, so she's taking responsibility without taking responsibility. She's admitting it that yes, the past 4 years economically we were terrible. We did nothing. America's not doing so well right now. She basically just admitted that when she tried to separate herself from Joe Biden, her president, her administration. You're right, Andrew. You're right.
Good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation.
But I have to say this, right? We're not pro or against anybody in particular. We're all here about policies. We're just judging them by the debate right now, by how they're portraying themselves, by the responses. And you can tell who's right, who's not, right? So that's what we're doing. It's a very unbiased opinion. Of course, as an outsider, I have no bias towards anybody. Very unbiased here. But I have to also say this, that Americans, they're blessed to have debates like these, because you get this level of transparency, which I doubt any other country in the world gets, right? People in many, many countries across the globe, they don't even get to know the policies that the candidates stand for. Many countries, they don't even know which candidate they're voting for. They vote for the party, not the candidate. Many instances, it's been in the past in many countries. So Americans should feel blessed to have a platform like this where they can have the candidates answerable and they're questioned in such a manner, and they have to stand there, they have to face the American people, and they have to put forward their case and tell the American people, this is what I stand for, this is why you should vote for me, not for him or her. It's great, and wow, bias or opinions aside, I have to say these debates are a blessing, and Americans or nobody should ever take these for granted. They're a blessing.
To respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking, and then this business about taking everyone's
That's right, Andrew. That's right. Very well said. Venom says that's true. Both candidates have to come up front and present. It doesn't happen in other countries. Does not. It's true.
To the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history of where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate.
So, as American, Andrew, anybody who's in the U.S., has the Affordable Care Act helped you, or do you find it beneficial? Has it helped you in any way? Let me know, because when I was in America, right, I had the Aetna insurance, right, so we had to pay a heavy sum of money. It was a private insurance, but wow, it was great. But let me know if the Affordable Care Act has. Do you find it of any use? Let me know. And they're talking about this, right? Nobody's actually talking about the fact that he wants to make IVF free. He wants the He wants to mandate the insurance companies to pay for IVF, or if not, he wants the government to pay for our people's IVF. It's a great cause, great idea. I'm all in for it. But how is he going to do it? How is he going to mandate the insurance companies to pay for the IVF? That's the question these guys should be asking Trump. They haven't asked him that yet. Yeah, that's right, Andrew. That's the other name for politicians. That's right.
Cost of prescription medication for seniors is $2,000 a year, and when I am president, we will do that for all.
And when I'm president, the level of confidence. All right, Kamala.
Access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not get rid of it.
Vice
Pass this
President
bill
Harris,
up in
thank
terms
you.
of where Donald Trump stands on
I
that.
want to move to an issue that's important for a lot
Made
of
a mistake. Number one, John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years. But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to do.
President
People are
Trump.
paying privately for insurance that have worked hard and made money, and they want to have private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need.
That's terrible.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to.
This is where America and a lot of the Western countries are really lacking behind when it comes to Medicare. The fact that you have to wait all these months to get an operation done, to get a surgery done, to get a test done, to meet a doctor is terrible. And it's so expensive on top of that. I feel like this is where the Eastern countries, or the countries on the East side, they have the edge. The South Asian countries, I will say India, is great when it comes to Medicare, when it comes to really health, right? I mean, if you want to see a doctor today, you see a doctor today. If you want to get a test done today, you get a test done today. If you want to get a surgery, in the future sometime, you get it when you want it. So this is where the Western countries, America, the UK, really are lacking behind very, very, very badly. And they should do something about it, because it's bad when it comes to the amount of time people have to wait before they get medical attention. It is bad.
To historic levels. We have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president.
Andrew says, no, brother, it does nothing for me. I have always gotten insurance through my place of employment. I do not use a system. I'm not an entitled person. I'm a hard worker, working person that takes pride in being able, absolutely. And that's what I feel this is the opinion that most people would have, and this is the preference that most people would have. So if Trump is saying that Kamala or their party wants to take away private insurances and wants to have everybody on government insurance, it's crazy. If that's true, I feel it's baffling, it's crazy. Because at the end of the day, just like you said, anybody who takes pride in the work that they do, any person who has pride or wants to give the best for their family, they want private insurance. They want to pay for their insurance, and they want to get the best treatment possible that they can get for their families. Absolutely, brother. I totally agree with that. And yeah, I'm with you on that, 100%. And let's see. Beautifully said, Andrew. Beautifully said.
Unbelievable. But we're not going to let that. We'll put tariffs on those cars so they can't come into our country because they will kill United Auto Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit or South Carolina or any other place. What they've done to business and manufacturing in this country is horrible. We have nothing because they refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from you.
Very well said, Venom. Very well said.
All of these different countries, and then you wonder why
NHS is a mess.
this one, that
It really is.
China. Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow?
I agree.
Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of
Wow.
the candidates. An historic night, this ABC News presidential debate from Philadelphia. Back to you.
Great debate so far. We are coming to the end of it. Time flies when you're having a good time, and we've been here for about 97 minutes. It's crazy. It doesn't feel like it's been 97 minutes. Andrew, what did you say? That this has been far more entertaining than any wrestling that we've watched lately. It's been great. Yeah, and we are coming to the end of it. They're taking a little commercial break. You know, drink some water, get ready, because when we're back, they're going to be delivering their closing statements. And we don't know if there's going to be another debate after this one. This is possibly the last debate that they're going to be having. So before the elections, that is. If they do one more, I think it'll be great. I think more than a debate, what they really need right now is, I don't know if you guys remember it, but Hillary and Donald had, like, I believe, a series of 3 debates. Donald already did one here for this election against Joe Biden, where he, as Republicans like to call it, ended Joe Biden's political career. Tonight, he could be ending Kamala Harris's political career. And I feel like there should be another debate. There should be a third one, which should also be a town hall. If you remember back in 2017, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, these guys, both of them actually, they had the final debate that they had before the election also had a town hall where people were there asking questions. It was great because it gave people an opportunity to interact with their candidates, you know, before casting their vote, ask the questions that the American people wanted to ask, and we saw that side of the candidates, how they deal with the people, how respectfully they answer them, how respectfully do they listen to them. It was important, and I feel like we should have a town hall with both of them. It shows a more humanitarian side of the candidates. It shows how respectfully they treat others, and a town hall, I feel, with both of them is a must. That should be the last one, I feel. But Richard says, true, in India, some treatment can be expensive, but if you want to get it done today, you get it done today. Indeed, you know, people are ready to pay for treatments. They just want to get treatments done. They don't want to wait 6 months to get something done, just like Donald Trump said. Very well, very well. And when I had private insurance, when I was in America, I had private insurance, Aetna. Never had to wait. You know, if I wanted medical attention, I got it. So people don't want to go through the government route, just like Andrew said. If you can pay for it, you want to pay for it. And Trump, just like he said, the Democrats want to make it all government and not private. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, we've got Andrew saying, so if you would have everyone having government insurance would be similar to Canada and their social medicine, that is bad. Absolutely. 100%. You don't want that. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. You should have a balance. You should have an option to have both. And it's very funny to me how the media, right? The media, month after month after month, they keep talking about Project 2025, which apparently is a project that some people put together. And, you know, the media loves to associate that with Trump. Trump has said this time and time. He's flat out said, I've got nothing to do with that project. These are some ideas that were put together by a group of people. I've got nothing to do with it. I'm not going to be employed. I don't know how much more clear he has to be when it comes to that. He's just flat out denied it. On such a global stage right now, by the way, such a big stage, he said, I've got nothing to do with it. They keep bringing it up. But nobody brings up the fact that the Democrats want to make insurance all government, not private, and such important matters that really would affect a a normal citizen's day-to-day life. It's something that everybody needs, insurance, right? And they should be able to make the decision. They keep bringing up controversial topics, right? Like immigration that really doesn't affect a normal day citizen. But then you don't bring up insurance and all these important topics that would affect the day-to-day life of so many. It's funny to me. Rita says, I think government insurance and medical insurance everywhere is bad. That's right. It's like, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere. Because if you're not paying for something, you know what they say? If you're paying for something, it's got to be good. If you're not paying for it, if it's free, there's always a catch. And it's true everywhere. If you're not paying for it, it's not going to be good. Andrew says, I would say the U.S. lags behind in cutting edge procedure like stem cell therapy. So the U.S., once again, if you talk about IVF, abortion, it is so split because some people will fully support stuff like that, like stem cell therapy. Some will be totally pro stem cell, some will be totally anti stem cell. And that's where they lag behind. Now, final closing comments. Let's listen in.
But we're not going back. And I do believe that the American people know we all have so much more in common than what separates us. And we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe in what we can do together that is about sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world. I will be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay?
Whoever asked that, I don't know. I've never heard anybody asking anyone, are you a Republican or are you a Democrat, before providing them service.
I intend to
Weird.
be president for all Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up our country by investing right now in you, the American people.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to.
You're right, Andrew. Little slip up there. Yeah. You're right, Venom.
Hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it. And you
It's
won't
true.
do it.
She has the power to do it right now, not after she becomes president, but right now. This is the vice president that we're talking about. She's already in power.
Going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just asked one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world they laugh. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power
It's true.
of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people
I agree. I agree with Trump there. Yep.
Is our ABC News presidential debate from here in
I
Philadelphia.
feel like that closing statement, especially for Trump, it was it was incredible. You know, it definitely was like a knockout punch, a sucker punch to Harris and the Democrats. I feel like Trump won this debate by a landslide. He was calm, he was sincere, uh, he maintained his temperament. I think he was incredible. Trump really nailed this debate. Kamala Harris not only came across as the underdog, she came across as a improficient candidate, not proficient at all, incapable. Really, I wouldn't say that she's capable of being the president. Terrible vice president. She herself proved it in her statements unknowingly a few times that she just isn't a capable president. The fact that Trump said you're still in power, you can still do the things that you've said that you can do, that you will do when you're president. Why don't you just do them right now? You just go to the White House, do this right now. So great debate. But the winner, I feel, in my opinion, is Donald Trump. Let's see what the American people think. But as an outsider, I feel, and I feel this firmly, that Donald Trump nailed this debate. The things that he said about just ending the war between Russia, Ukraine, and of course the thing going on in Israel. What Kamala Harris tried to bring up with Trump, having talks and communication with the Taliban back when he was president, and Trump then clearing the air and saying, "Look, I had the talk with the Taliban leader Abdul because I wanted them to stop killing the American soldiers, and when I had that talk, 18 months after that, they never killed a single American soldier. When he left office and when Joe Biden stepped in, the insanity in Afghanistan took place." So the points that he put forth and the way that he cleared a lot of the accusations that Kamala Harris tried to throw at him, I think that was incredible. Trump, once again, he maintained his temperament. Kamala Harris tried to actually lost her temperament a few times over there, right? She tried to talk over Trump even though the mics were muted. You knew the mics were muted, but she just couldn't hold her temperament. She couldn't hold her anger behind. So Trump, clear winner of this debate. As an outsider, I feel that he is a better choice to be president. But let's see what happens. We still have some time, right? It is still September. The elections, of course, to take place November. So we still have a month, 2 months. Anything can happen. 2 months is a long time. Are we going to have another debate? Are we going to have a town hall? We will find out. But until then, thank you so much, guys, for being here. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Weenam. Thanks, Ritu. Thanks, everybody, for being here. One more time, we will be here. We will be talking about a lot of things from politics to technology and more from an outsider's perspective. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a great night ahead. This was ABC's presidential debate, the second debate of this election, 2024, the first for Kamala Harris, the second for Trump. Trump once again made history as the only candidate to have 7 general election debates, the most in American history. One more time, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Andrew. Take care. I will see you in the next live stream. Much love to all of you. Take care and have a good night.